Hello, welcome to the Young Ones. We will discuss about the transference of the unsaid and the psychotic disorders of teenagers using the archetypal approach. Analyzing archetypes are important so we as a reader can completely understand how they are used to develop a plot. Transference was first coined by Dr. Sigmund Freud in his book Civilization and Its Discontents. It described when a person is unconsciously redirect certain feelings, expectations, or desires onto someone else, and this mostly occurs on a therapy. Meaning, the client transfer all the stuffs on their therapist, but it can't happen on a regular life. In the movie, Michael Hunter, a renowned psychiatrist who retreats, writes books, holds speeches for university students, but no longer treats patients because of the loss of his son named Kyle, who committed suicide several years ago. Was approached by his former student Barbara Wagner, asking for help with a case he initially refuses, but then gives in to taking over the case of 17-year-old Thomas "Tommy" Cafe, who had to watch his father murder his mother. It is Michael's job to decide if the teenager can leave the psychiatric facility when he turns 18. But while working with Tommy, Michael realizes how much the boy reminds him of his own son, Kyle, and feelings of guilt arise in the psychologist. Shelley tells Tommy about Kyle. Tommy uses the information in the therapy sessions and manipulates Michael, who more and more sees his own son in him. According to the source published in 2001, during transference, people turn into a biological time machine. A nerve is struck when someone says or does something that reminds you of your past. This creates an emotional time warp that transfers your emotional past and your psychological needs into the present. This is what happened to Michael Hunters. Michael says, "You asked me the other day if Tommy reminds me of Kyle." "It does, doesn't he?" asked Barbara. "At times, he's Kyle." "That's not uncommon, Michael, you know that," said Barbara. "Yeah, I know it's transference, but this is something else. There's just something in his tone and his gestures. I held them and I felt Kyle in his eyes. Those are his eyes. I'm losing it." Transference may be positive or negative. Both types can benefit therapy in different ways. Positive transference can lead the person in therapy to view the therapist as kind, concerned, or otherwise helpful. Negative transference might cause a person in therapy to direct angry or painful feelings toward the therapist. But the therapist may be able to use these emotions to help the person achieve greater understanding. Let's talk about psychotic disorders of teenagers. First, what is a psychotic disorder? It is often called as psychosis. It is what happens when people are experiencing and perceiving the world around them differently from others. These differences can include seeing things that are not there, such as people, animals, colors or shapes, even shadows, and hearing voices or sounds that other people do not hear. Did you know 3 out of every 100 people experience psychosis? It is most likely to be diagnosed in young adults, but psychosis can happen to anyone. Most people experience psychotic disorders between the ages of 15 to 30 years old. People who are psychotic have false thoughts or delusions and see or hear things that are not there, or what we call hallucinations. Now, let's go with recognizing the signs of psychosis. We have difficulty concentrating, depressed mood, anxiety, suspiciousness, withdrawal from family and friends, and unusual thoughts and beliefs. Some of these symptoms were present in Tommy's action on some scenes in the movie. In the part where Michael asked Tommy some questions regarding with his mother's death, Tommy kept on saying that it wasn't my fault and insisted to Michael that he's innocent. Anxiety and unusual thoughts and beliefs were seen through that scene. Psychosis also have stages which are consist of delusions, disorganized speech, switching topics erratically, depression and suicidal thoughts or actions. Obviously, these factors also happened on Tommy. In the part where Tommy was cornered by the policeman and he used Shelley as his hostage, Michael succeeded to convince him to let her daughter go. Tommy did let her go and surrendered himself, but suddenly, he ran towards the railway where train is fast approaching. Always remember that it is important to see a doctor right away if you or someone you know is experiencing symptoms of psychosis. Thank you for watching.